Wander over Yonder, in The Return to Equestria, written by Angel She 24, special delivery. This story is a sequel to Wander over Yonder, in The Friendship. This special mail delivery brings Wander and Sylvia back to the world of Equestria, where they join their pony friends for a carnival celebration in candlelit. They look forward for a couple of days of fun and exploration. Unfortunately, a familiar enemy is hot on the trail of the wandering duo, quietly stalking them for revenge. But will catching them prove to be more difficult than this hunter thinks? A single ship up in space was cruising along the cosmos, driven by a very trusting postman. He was carrying tons of cosmic mail that he was trusted to deliver to all of their planet destinations. Got to get these here mail stuff to where they need to go. It's to the utmost importance for a postman to deliver every piece of mail he has, after all, no matter how large or how small. But as he was cruising along, something strange happened. He wasn't quite sure of what it could have been, but the postman caught a quick glimpse of something that zipped by outside his window. Huh? Was that? No, it couldn't have been. Something in his head told him to investigate what he noticed, so he backed his ship up until he came upon an object that looked like a letter of some kind. He quickly vacuumed it into the ship to take a closer look. No way, a letter just floating out there all alone in the deep vastness of space without any form of transportation to its destination. How tragic. But this must mean something. It was by fate that me and this letter crossed paths. Now then, let's just see who this letter is addressed to. He held the envelope up to his face, and what he saw written on it shocked him. Well, it'll be them, huh? His mind was already set. He set up his ship to hone in on the very ones this letter was assigned to. There's no time to waste. I have a strong feeling that this letter is important. The ship made a giant U-turn and was now cruising on a set path. The mailman kept going and did not stop until it came to a screeching halt at a small but popular restaurant set in a moon crater. He got out of the ship with a letter in hand and burst through the door, startling almost everyone that was in there. Seeing that he was overdoing it a bit, the mailman straightened himself out and tried to catch his breath. I'm dreadfully sorry for interrupting everyone here, but I'm here on important business. I have a mysterious letter that I must urgently deliver to its rightful owners. He lifted up the letter and stated, Now then, is there a Wander and Sylvia here? The whole restaurant stood silent with no one saying a single word in response. But pretty soon, the silence was broken when the head of a single customer slowly rose up, sporting a wide brightly grin. The mailman suddenly found himself confronted with the one he was looking for when a small, brown, energetic alien zipped up in front of him. He bowed with his hat as he greeted the mailman. That would be me, Yonder, said Wander as he pointed at the table where his steed companion was still sitting and munching on food. Thank you so much for doing your duty as a mailman. Pretty soon, everyone else in the restaurant just went back to their usual business like nothing happened. No need to thank me, said the mailman to Wander, I'm always glad to do so. Sylvia soon got up and joined Wander as she was slurping up the remains of a slushie. After releasing a loud belch, she asked, So what's up? What is it that makes this delivery so urgent? This letter, said the mailman with a mysterious tone in his voice, I just saw it wandering aimlessly in the middle of the deep, dark vastness of space. Once I saw who it was addressed to, I felt like I had to deliver it right away. As usual, Wander was getting into the excitement that befell them. Ooh, hearing that just gets me even more excited. Well, I guess it's something, said Sylvia nonchalantly. After all, this is the most interesting thing that has happened to us during the past 2 weeks. After handing the letter to Wander, whose hands were shaking with anticipation, the mailman checked the time on his watch he was wearing and said, Well, I'd love to stay around and find out what that mysterious letter of yours says, but duty calls. More letters to deliver, and each one needs to get to their destination, pronto. The mailman rushed back outside and climbed into his ship, and then he waved at Wander and Sylvia as he went up in the air and rode away. Bye-bye, Mr. Postman, shouted Wander as he waved back. What a nice and responsible young man. I think he's older than you, Wander, Sylvia stated. In any case, what do you think is so important about this mysterious letter? Only one way to find out. Wander began to frantically try to open the letter to see its content. But just as Sylvia began to give him a warning, just be a bit more careful opening that thing apart from last time, or else, paper cut. Wander fell to the ground whining and sucking his finger that hid the cut from the letter. Sylvia sighed and picked up the letter herself and began to read it as Wander got back up and continued to suck his finger. Dear Wander and Sylvia, we all missed you. It's been quite a while ever since you two landed in our town and visited us. Almost a year. It was so much fun having you both here. You guys were funny and were great company to have around. But we still can't thank you enough for helping to save our friend and our home from that alien meanie, Lord Hater, and his army of eyeball troops. I don't know how long it will be until you get this letter, that is if you even get this at all, but when you do, please promise me that you'll come back and visit us soon. We would all love to see you two again. Yours truly, Apple Bloom. Upon hearing the sender's name, both Wayner nor Sylvia couldn't believe it. Was it quite possible that their pony friends found a way to launch a single letter into space? "Aw, it's from our young pony friend, Apple Bloom," Wonder cooed, and look how she added some glitter and little hearts. "That is so cute." "Yeah, it's kinda cute I guess," said Sylvia with a small smile. "Do ya know what this means, Sylvia? This is the perfect time to act on her request. We have to go back there." Sylvia became frozen for a bit hearing what Wanda suggested. In the mood she was in, she wasn't sure if she was up to doing anything active. I don't know, Wanda. I was kinda hoping to just lay low for now, you know. Come on, Sylvia, what are you saying? Wanda begged. It has been almost a year since we last visited them, and besides, we made a promise and we're going to keep that promise. Right, Sylvia? He then got on his knees and begged even more. Please. Please. Bless. Sylvia then thought about it and figured that maybe it would be nice to visit their pony friends again. Well, things have been a bit slow lately, and we haven't had much action for a while. So, sure, why not? Wanda suddenly launched off the ground and hugged Sylvia around her neck screaming, "Yeah! Thank you, thank you, thank you." However, Sylvia pointed out, but we still have one problem. We came upon that planet completely by accident. How are we supposed to find our way back there now? Not to worry, Sylvia, said Wonder, where there's a will, there's a way, and our way is. He then grabbed his hat from his head and held it up in the air as he said, "The hat." "The hat, of course," Sylvia groaned. "All right, hat, you know the drill. No need to give us what we want, just give us what we need." Wanda reached inside the hat and rummaged around in it for a few seconds before pulling out an instrument that felt a bit less dramatic to Sylvia. "A compass, just a compass." "Really? But not just any compass," said Wanda excitedly, "a magic compass. We just tell this thing where we want to go, and boom, it creates a trail of magical dust that we can follow to get to our destination." Sylvia smiled a bit, feeling a bit impressed at what the hat gave them, even if it was kinda out of the norm. A bit weird, but, okay, I'm down with that. Wanda held up the compass and said, "Oh magical compass, please, point us the way, back to Equestria." The compass then started to glow and floated up in the air. It then went outside where it exploded and released a trail of sparkling stars that soon shut off in the distance, leaving a trail for them to follow. "But do you know, it worked," said Sylvia, feeling a bit shocked. "Very impressive." "Well, of course it worked," said Wanda proudly as he placed his hat back on his head. "It's all thanks to the hat." "Oh, yeah. Thank you, all great and powerful hat." Wanda suddenly went to the table that they were eating at and grabbed the leftover food and placed in a little styrofoam container. He then shouted at one of the waiters, "Thanks for the meal, mister. We'll be taking the rest of this on the road," as he gave a friendly tip to the waiter. Sylvia was already outside as she called out to him, "Well, come on, Wonder, that planet isn't going to refine itself." Wanda ran to her, leapt upon her saddle where he swung his hat around and shouted, "Yeehaw! Equestria, we're coming back for ya!" And with that, they were off into space in their traveling bubble, following the sparkling path to their destination. But unknown to them, a pair of piercing evil eyes were watching them from a table in a dark corner of the restaurant. Someone was watching them for a perfect time to catch them for a bounty, but now lost their chance. White, they wept a little earlier than I anticipated. They got away. The hunter was holding a screen communicator, using it to communicate with one of the most evil, dictatorial villains in the galaxy, Lord Hater. "Hear what the hunter said?" He became furious. "What, you let them escape? Can't you do your job right?" A random waiter suddenly walked up to the table, all nonchalant, like holding a dish, saying, "A stinky fish souffle order for the dark, creepy table in the shadows." "Thank you," said the hunter, who grabbed the dish and then took a small bite and swallowing it, enjoying its taste. "In any case, no need to worry, for good timing and patience is all part of being a good bounty hunter." White being the very opposite of patient, Hater groaned and said, "Ugh, all of this waiting and patient stuff of yours is driving me crazy." His number one soldier in command, Peepers, was there as well, as he told his boss, "Well, she does have a point, sir. No need to rush things." "Exact why my point. No one asked you, Peepers. Besides, if she's so skilled in waiting for the right time to strike, then how is she going to track those two down while she is just sitting there devouring that stinky, smelly dish down her gut?" While swallowing another big bite of the souffle dish, the hunter rolled its eyes and answered, "If you must know, Winnie Pants, while those two were distwalked, I placed a twadsing device in that Sylvia one's coat, and she's completely oblivious by it." So now no matter where they go, they can't hide from me. Oh, well, I guess that works too, said Hater, pouting a bit. Wait a minute, did you just call me Winnie Pants? Ignoring what Hater pointed out, the hunter smiled, showing its sharp teeth, and said, "Trust me, Hater, when it comes to getting a big word." Then the hunter stepped out of the shadows, showing her identity. Wilbix always catches her PWEYHNPH. Too bad it didn't happen last time like you promised, Hater complained. It was a minor setback. Wanda was easy pickings for me, but the Siwavia, she was the Tiwiki one, and the one who went withing. She then picked up and held up a backpack that she was carrying and held it close to her while smirking. But this time, I'm complete YPWEPARED for her. She won't get the dawip on me this time. Very well then, said Hater as he gave in. Just make sure you actually keep your end of the bargain this time. Because if you come back empty-handed again, you'll need more than your cutsy-wootsy eyes to save you. Hater out. After the communicator signed off, Lil Bitch just scoffed at Hater's threat as she finished the last bite of her dish. Once she was done, she slipped on her backpack and converted her communicator to hone in on the signal of Yonder and Sylvia. She headed out the door of the restaurant with a small menacing grin on her face, feeling confident in her mission as she looked on ahead. Get out, Yonder and Sylvia, I'm coming for you. And this time, your bounties are mine. The return to Equestria, Ponyville, we see Apple Bloom trotting along a path that leads to Fluttershy's cottage. She had a special message to deliver from her sister, Applejack, since she was a bit busy keeping on schedule bucking the apple trees at Sweet Apple Acres. Apple Bloom didn't mind taking the small trip though, she felt like taking a little walk anyway. Once she reached the cottage, she decided to sniff some of the flowers around the lake for good measure. She then walked up to the front door, knocking on it to call out to Fluttershy. Hello? Fluttershy. It's me, Apple Bloom. I have something to tell you, and it's very important. So far, no one was answering, and Apple Bloom was wondering if Fluttershy was even home. Fluttershy, are ya there? Great, she's not even here. Maybe she's somewhere in the main part of town. But suddenly, as Apple Bloom turned around and started to head for the main part of Ponyville, the door opened and Apple Bloom heard the voice of the one she was looking for. I'm sorry, Apple Bloom, did you call for me? Apple Bloom quickly turned around and was quite relieved to see her here after all. Fluttershy, thank goodness. I thought that I had to go all the way back too, but she suddenly saw Fluttershy dressed in some kind of maid outfit, and it looked very weird to her. What are you wearing? Do you like it? I was just doing a little cleaning in here and thought I would just dress up a little bit for the occasion. To Apple Bloom, it was a bit unusual to see Fluttershy dressed in this way, but you never dress like that when you clean. In fact, you don't dress at all. I wanted to try something new. Is that ever so wrong? Well, anyway, said Apple Bloom, shaking her head trying to ignore what she saw. I came here to give you our message from Applejack, cause she a bit busy right now. But that's when Fluttershy started to act really weird. Sorry, but I'm a bit busy as well, cleaning, singing, being kind to my animal friends, and not let any wind blow under my little skirt. Ooh, it's a bit drafty in here. It was then that Apple Bloom knew that something was up, and then it hit her. Wait a minute, Discord, is that you? I don't know, am I? Fluttershy then suddenly disappeared in a puff of smoke, and in her place was the despicable but newly reformed Discord. Oh, I guess I even began laughing at the little filly and her reaction. Oh, that was priceless. I never thought little fillies like you could be fooled so easily. It's not funny, you're a big meanie, said Apple Bloom with a slight frown. Oh, I'm not, I was having a little fun. Perhaps you've heard of that word, fun. You should look it up. I know what fun is, Apple Bloom retorted. Your meaning of fun is different and much more ridiculous. Discord started to strive some poses to show off the outfit that he was wearing. So tell me, how does this outfit look on me? 244 like. Apple Bloom made a little stuck-up smirk and told him, I don't know, but it makes your butt look big. Discord suddenly gasped in slight disgust hearing the words from the filly's mouth. Well, now who's the meanie? Then Apple Bloom focused back on her original objective. I don't have time for this. Can you tell me where Fluttershy is, please? Oh yes, Fluttershy. She and I had the most wonderful time earlier this morning, having some tea and cookies, and some sweet macaroons. What are macaroons? Apple Bloom wondered. Sweet little delicate, round cakes, said Discord, licking his lips, so delectable. They also come in some awesome flavors. Raspberry, white chocolate, pistachio, apricot, grapefruit. I could go on. You should have seen that spoiled little rabbit when he bit into the pistachio one. It was hilarious. Discord made a little basket, appeared, and then pulled out a macaroons. Want a macaroon? After hearing what macaroons were, Apple Bloom got distracted a bit and wagging her tail, thinking of how good it might taste. Really? I would like to have some. Then she stopped and realized what she was doing. Wait a minute. Stop changing the subject. Tell me where Fluttershy is already, will ya? Okay, fine, groaned Discord as he tossed away that basket that disappeared in a puff of smoke. You just missed her a few minutes ago before you arrived here. He said something about situating thing with Applejack. She placed me in charge to watch her animal friends while she went. Isn't that nice of her? What? Apple Bloom shouted. Why didn't you just tell me that in the first place? I was just a bit lonely and you were great company, so I just stalled you for a bit to have a bit of fun. Is that ever so wrong? Apple Bloom thought for a moment, and then she remembered seeing Discord disguising himself as Fluttershy in the dress he was wearing, and she was chuckling a bit. Well, I guess it was a bit amusing see you looking like Fluttershy in a maid dress. How about it how I look now? Discord questioned. Oh, no. That looks weird and just plain creepy. Say what you want. I think it feels rather comfortable. Yeah, said Apple Bloom as she started to walk off. See ya. It was nice talking to you, I guess. But as she was walking off, Discord suddenly felt an unusual feeling go out his body that caught his attention. He felt that something or someone was coming that unlike anything he's ever witnessed. He stood there stroking his goatee saying, oh my, isn't that quite interesting? Quite interesting indeed. Apple Bloom heard him as she turned around and asked, what are you talking about? Pardon me if I may, said Discord, but did your ponies at some point in the past receive some unusual guests of the extraterrestrial kind? Apple Bloom thought carefully and felt like she knew the answer, but it wouldn't come to her for some reason. I don't know. I'm not sure. Is that your final answer? Said Discord, changing into a game show host outfit while holding a microphone to the pondering filly. What are you getting at? Just then at that moment, Apple Bloom finally remembered. Wait, I just remembered. A while back about a year ago, a couple of aliens visited us, and their names were Yonder and Sylvia. Yeah. They helped save us from this other alien that was battling a huge army that had Fluttershy hostage. It was intense. Discord didn't like the thought of Fluttershy being held hostage, but other than that, he almost wished that he could have witnessed the action. Ooh, sounds like it was delightfully chaotic. Why did you ask me that anyway? Asked Apple Bloom suspiciously. Oh, it's nothing at all. Just a curious little thought that was tapping around in my head. Discord then lifted up the top of his head to reveal his brain that was tap dancing around complete with a cane and hat. Seeing this caused Apple Bloom to burst out in laughter, making her feel less annoyed from earlier. Hey, that's kinda funny. A bit bizarre, but funny. Thanks, Discord. I'll eat it a good lad. Discord bowed down and tipped the top of his head like a hat and said, glad to be of service. Heh, bye. As Apple Bloom went off, Discord placed his top back on and glared up at the sky. Angel came out of cottage and right beside him and looked up at him as Discord stated without looking down, ever had a feeling that something very unusual is about to happen. And being the spirit of chaos, that's a bit unnerving. Angel looked up at the sky and then shrugged his shoulders, not knowing what Discord meant. But then Discord decided to ignore what he felt for now and changed back into the maid's dress complete with a feather duster in hand. Oh well, back to the eye duties. Angel rolled his eyes as Discord went back in, thinking of how ridiculous he looked, and the fact that he had to look at it. Somewhere in space, Yonder and Sylvia were continuing traveling on the path to their destination that was provided by a magic compass that Yonder had. Yonder was riding on top of Sylvia while she was using her leg muscles to do all of the running. Sylvia didn't mind though. It was giving her a good exercise. However, Yonder was beginning to worry. Hey, Sylvia. We've been traveling on this path for quite a while now. We could rest a bit if you want. The rest of the sparkly path won't disappear until we get to the end anyway. No, don't worry about me, said Sylvia as she kept running. We've only been going for a couple of hours. I still got some steam left in me by the way, said Yonder. Since we're going back to this planet, you don't think anybody is going to follow us and almost ruin things again, do ya? What kind of malarkey is that? I'm just saying that once we get there, it will be nice to be there without someone causing trouble or holding hostages or threatening others' lives, like last time trying to not lose time. Sylvia just kept on going as she said to him, well, I doubt Lord Hatter would dare to try and land on that planet anytime soon. Heh, that loser would be humiliated all over again. Who else do you think would follow us to ruin things? Wanda thought hard in his head and thought of a few good candidates. Well, there's that awesome shark guy, Emperor Awesome. Ugh, maybe then there's the charming knight, Sir Bat Starlight. Meh, he's a lost cause, or maybe, Evil Sandwich. Sylvia just rolled her eyes and shook her head. She was thinking of how a sandwich could ruin their fun. But then, another candidate came in her head. Wait, there is someone else. Who? Sylvia, said Wonder. Who? Sylvia's eyes narrowed as she said, little bits of what? Wonder shouted, Sylvia, you crazy Zebernick, that little kitty wasn't evil. She was the cutest little ball of furry I've ever seen. Sylvia just smacked herself in the face hearing Wonder still defending Little Bits. Wonder, she was a bounty hunter. She mesmerized you with her eyes and tricked you into spoiling her and giving her whatever she wanted. She was going to turn us over to Lord Hater for money to be tortured and possibly killed. You are only lucky that I outsmarted her, not that it was too hard. Okay, maybe I don't remember much of what happened at the end of our little adventure with Lil Bits, Wanda partially admitted, but I'm sure she's not that bad. Maybe she's a little misguided. Sylvia was about to say something to retaliate Wanda's comment, but then calmed down and decided to let it go. Anyway, I wouldn't worry yourself over this. Hater's not setting foot on the planet again, at least for a while, and not much action has been going on with us lately. I doubt anyone would start trying to track us down now all of a sudden while running. Sylvia felt something itching in her fur and was scratching it furiously. What's up? Said Wanda, looking at her curiously. You got a little itchy spot. A little, but it's gone now. Suddenly, Sylvia started to feel the pain of all the running she surging through her legs. Oh no, I feel my limbs are actually starting to give out. She then slumped down and took a huge sigh. Maybe now would be a good idea to take a short break, but as she relaxed, Wanda looked ahead of them and gasped with a bright smile. Maybe you don't have to, Sylvia. Look. Sylvia looked up and suddenly saw the planet they were looking for appear right in front of their eyes from nowhere. Sylvia sat there at a loss for words, wondering what she just saw. What the, how, who, we've made it, Sylvia. Wanda shouted in excitement. There it is right there. It's just as magnificent as the moment we saw it when we were hurtling to our deaths. But how's that possible? Said Sylvia, feeling confused. I didn't see it at first when I stopped, so why is it suddenly there now? Wanda got up in Sylvia's ear and whispered with his body vibrating, maybe because it's magic. Sylvia groaned and solemnly looked at her friend. Yeah, well, since it's right there, might as well go all the way. She then got up and started to stretch her legs to get some more feeling back into them. Come on, girls, don't fail me now. And with great effort, she took off along the path toward the shimmering planet, huffing and puffing, doing her best to stay strong. As for Wonder, he was as hyped up as ever, looking forward to seeing his pony friends again. They only got more excited the closer they got to their destination. Equestria, here we come. Thanks for watching.